Hey, it's Makarov owner. Alright, so 220 Swift dies came in. That's pretty slick. So we're going to go ahead and make some 762 by 45. It's a lot easier than doing the 308 way. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make myself a little false bushing. And you can do this any number of ways. This is a very simple way to cheat. That's what I'm going to do. So I have a shortened 9mm case that I can't use for anything else. And I'm going to take a 357 38 bullet. So I'm going to go ahead and put that inside there. Right? And then I'm just going to take that and shove it down inside a 40 Smith & Wesson case. Okay? And that's just going to create a spacer for me. And it's going to end up getting a little compressed. Over the course, it's going to get wrecked. I don't care. I'll do another one if I have to. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put it in my shell holder. And then I didn't get my normal lube out. I'm going to end up doing like a full tray, and I'll use a spray lube. I won't use oil on it like this, but for this video it'll be fine. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take this brass, and I'm going to run it on up into this 303 Brit die, and I pulled the decapper out. You can get a set of these dies from Lee for like 20 bucks. So this is the one with the green case. Let's see, 303 Brit, blah blah blah. RGB dies. They're like $19, 20 bucks from Amazon. Just have them shipped straight to your door. Beats the hell out of paying RCBS like 400 bucks. Okay, so this is a big money saving way. CH4D also has 762 by 45 dies. If you want to pay like 130 bucks. I'm not going to do it. I've been able to do it without paying those guys that kind of money for a set of dies with stuff that I'm already going to use, right? So the main die I need is this 303 Brit, and then I also need 762 by 39 dies, and a lot of us need those dies anyway, so, you know, not a big deal. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I have that false bushing right there. That's to lift the base of the case up into the die, okay? And what I'm going to do is go ahead, two things. This actually, believe it or not, on the 220 Swift, it has a little bit of a rim. It's not much, and it's thin. It's actually going to kind of swage that, and it will bring it down, okay? So it's going to do that, and it's also going to create a shoulder. And I need to make that shoulder from the bottom of the case up to the shoulder needs to be 1.44. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. And it's going to take a few times running in because I'm going to go slow. I do not want to mess up my cases. Okay, now I need to drive it back. I should have, I think last time I did this, I actually took part of that neck off. And maybe I should have this time too. I think it's going to be okay. I did mess up part of that, but it seemed to me like last time I removed part of the neck prior to. And yeah, it's not going to be a problem because I'm at 186. I would suggest probably doing a rough trim and cut that off. At this point, I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to go ahead and run it on up. Okay, so right now I don't even have it on a shoulder. I'm at 163. So I'm just going to incrementally take it up until I get to 144. Okay, and it's going to take a little back and forth. If you because I'm just setting up, right? I should probably retain that in there. You goober. Let's drop that down and I'll pull it out. Okay, it's starting to get some shoulder on there now. So, two things. I'm going to go ahead and put that retaining clip on there for the base because I didn't do it earlier and I should have. They're actually, I don't like them very much, but it'll keep me from fishing around. Everything's floppy. So, and that base is actually kind of pressing down in nice and firm. So I'm going to put that guy back on. Oh, come on, you goober. Looks like I'm going to be spending a bunch of time crawling around if this is the way it's going to go. Okay, so I'm going to give her a twist. I'm going to double check our shoulder again. 158. We got a ways to go, so we're not in a big hurry. And we drive her back down. I would say, you know, doing a rough trim is probably a good idea. You know, just because you can get rid of that excess on that neck and probably make life a little easier. So I'll probably do that later. 153. Part of this, I'm a little bit excited because it's actually been a while since I've done the last batch of these Swift. But I tell you what, that one shell, that bushing that I made, does not want to stay in there. .50. I just felt that rim crunch, so that's definitely a sign that we're making progress. I should probably just rip that loop off there. Grab my base back off the floor. Damn thing anyway. For whatever reason that got pinched over and it's actually kind of hammered. We're at like 148, so we're getting there. It crushed the side of that bushing. Gnarly. As far as the base, I don't know if I showed that to you before. Let's see, I've got another one in this bag, so you can see a comparison. See how the rim on the upper one is a little bit larger. The other one's been compressed. And so now I don't need to trim that rim. It will be just fine. So now we're going to go ahead and go for some more. And drive her down again. Say we're looking for 144, and we don't want to get too excited because you wreck the case. And I'm there. As far as shoulder, I'm there. So now we need to trim down, get to our 177. Okay. It's actually 1771. You know, this lighting in here is not always that great. You know what? That looks like it's just a little long, so I'm going to do it one more go. Just going to take a fraction. And I'm not going to bother locking the collar because this is just it's a demo video. And when I go to do the rest of these, I actually have 60 of these to do. You know, I'm right there. Okay, So now what do? Well, now we're going to go rough trim. Okay, seems like this is very repeatable. Once you run up to this point, rough trim. Okay, so that's what we're going to go do now. Okay, so because I have that damaged neck, I'm actually going to part that off with a hacksaw, and I'm not going to do it with it turning because I'm more likely to hurt myself than to get anything done. Okay. Ah, that's off. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and check the length, and then we will see about... I'll probably go to neck expansion next, honestly, because that would seem to make some sense at the moment. Because we're actually... believe it or not, it's not all that far off. So I got that garbage off there. We're going to go neck expand. Okay, so neck expansion, let's talk about that for just a second. I'm using 7.62 by 39 dies, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in a normal base, and I'm going to run it just for the neck on the 7.62 by 39 dies, not anything else. You don't want to run down onto the body because you will crush it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that guy out. We're going to check the base because it's got to fit a base well, and if it doesn't, we'll get stuck in the die, and then this brass that we just made will be destroyed, and that sucks. So found a base right there that's going to work. It's probably the same one as for the 7.62 by 39. So we're going to swap that guy out. Okay. Like I say, I want to run it long. I only want the neck. I don't want anything else. And there's the neck. So we just expanded, okay? All right, now we go back over and we do our final trim and our deburring, okay? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and chuck it up into the lathe. That's not running quite even, so I'm going to fix it real quick. Close enough for what I'm doing. Now we're going to take a little bit of it off. And now we're going to check the length. We're after a length of 1771, okay? We're 1873. So we actually need to come down quite a bit. Looks like about 1/8 of an inch, roughly. They don't make a pilot for doing this. This is actually a 7.62 by 39. I used 223 in the past. It's actually pretty close, but you still have to run it down. I'm at 1829. I need to be at 1771. if I feel I get close enough, I'll actually slow down and I'll do it by hand, because I don't want to wreck it. I don't want to be, you know, massively short or anything like that. That would. I'm at 180. I can actually use a, yeah, I was loose. I can actually use a base that I have for Lee for sizing, and do it that way. .178.4. I'm getting close to the neighborhood. So I suppose that you could probably make a pilot yourself in order to get exact every time. I just don't know of one that's made, so I would think probably the closest one to it's going to be like a 308, and then run it on a metal lathe and get there. I just haven't gotten to that point yet. Well, depending on where you measure on here, I'm at 178.3, 177.9, 178.0. So I'm very, very close. So now we're going to do it by hand. Is that Matthew sneaking up on me? .177.5. .177.3. Still got 177.5 and 2. This is doggone close. You know what? Let's do this, and we'll just do a little turn by hand. That feels like it's bottoming out in there. There's my buddy. Yeah, 1770. So that case is complete. And so now our final test. 1440. So this one's done. Matt, can you grab me that rifle over there and bring it around?
CZ?
Yeah, the CZ. Let's zero this thing back out and double check.
Mine is Alex's favorite number.
Yep.
Well, Alex is older than me, so she gets it either way.
Well, it's not that. It's that, you know, she has always liked it and what have you. Okay. So let's take that live round out of there. Here,
Why
buddy.
did you have a live on?
Because I was testing it earlier today.
Dude, that's where we hit the primer.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Look.
No, but it's live. Okay, so we chamber up. It's all the way up. And we extract. And we have one completed shell out of 220 Swift using 303 dies for the main body and 762 by 39 dies to do the neck. Now, for the 762 by 39 dies, I use those for the neck, the seat, and the crimp. So it's a lot cheaper than going the other way. And honestly, if I was setting up to do a bunch of these, it doesn't take as long because you're running 50 of them, or in this case, it's going to be 60 of them through. And since the base is already done for me and everything with the die, it's going to be a lot faster than if you're doing what do they call that other one, Carcano, where you got to change the rim down on the bottom and all that monkey business. I don't have to do any of that. That die does it for me. So, but you know, 220 Swift is hard to come by. Couple other notes. I have been doing videos on converting 308 down to 762 by 45. I haven't test fired it yet, but you know, I think it's going to be working fine. I've got the chamber and all that stuff, made some live rounds. We'll go out probably this weekend and shoot it. And believe it or not, I actually made some of easy conversion was on 3030. And I did a test on that. Believe it or not, it fits, it extracts. The body on a 3030, that die for you guys that are machinists or machinist-like, if you should compare the case dimension drawings of the 762 by 45 against the 3030, and you're going to find out the case dimensions are very, very similar. In fact, starting loads for this shell, I compared 762 by 39 loads, and then I compared 3030 loads, and actually a starting 3030 load got this rifle to function right off the bat. It fired, it ejected, it loaded again. It was a little sluggish, so I stepped it up a grain, and I was hitting home runs with it. So as far as converting the 3030 brass, they split. I made two cases, they split, so they're fails. And I don't think, because they're thinner down at the bottom, I don't think you can make them anything but a fail. However, I think the dies can be converted very easily in order to be able to do like a resized die. So because the neck and the shoulder are virtually the same, but down at the bottom it's skinnier, so you'd have to widen that out. What it won't do for you is the full length like I just did, because I need it to size, I like it to size that base. So if I use the 303 die, it builds in that base sizing for me, so I don't have to screw around with it. And it's important because I don't have extraction problems. I also don't have any problems with running my brass later, because I can fit it in a shell holder without ripping the lips off it or that kind of thing. If that rim doesn't fit in the shell holder, it causes reloading problems. It's just the way of it. So this is the way to do 220 Swift, in my opinion. You guys make up your own opinion. If you want to spend $400 with RCBS, go ahead. Some of you guys got $400 you want to spend. Some of you guys might already have these dies laying around, and then it's just a matter of seeing this and deciding if you want to do it or not. I've run these, I've fired them, I got a video on it, and you know, I think you're going to find when you look at that video that you'll be happy. So anyway, take care.